Okay, so since you've moved over to playing Chinese 8-ball then, I mean, obviously it's a different world, literally.
Yeah.
What's it like then? I mean, how is the sport over there?
Well, it's incredible, to be honest, and certainly the difference from playing, at the English pool is just a million miles away, really. There's Stephen Hendry and myself that are signed to the company Joy Billiards now, so I'm out there doing exhibitions and promotional work and playing, challenge matches against some of the top Chinese players. But as for the actual the game out there, it's so popular. I think 80% of people that play cue sports in China actually play Chinese 8-ball, and only the other 20% is split between snooker and American pool. So that gives you a bit of an idea of just how popular and how big Chinese 8-ball is.
So in the last tournament you were playing, then it was streamed, so some of us were watching it over here.
Yeah.
And obviously it was on Chinese TV as well. I mean, what's the sort of viewing figures on Chinese TV?
Well, again, it's sort of mind-blowing, really, because China only have one main TV sports channel. Like in England, there's so many. There's Sky Sports 1, 2, 3, 4, Eurosport, BT. There's so many different sports channels. In China, they only have one main TV sports channel, which is called CCTV5. So everything that goes through China sports-wise goes through one main TV channel, and that channel is actually a terrestrial channel, so everybody gets it. You don't have to subscribe like you do for Sky Sports here, so it's a lot more accessible, obviously, to everybody that's got a TV. Every match was, every match was televised out there. So at least one match per round was televised live on CCTV5, and there was also a stream table as well. We've had the viewing figures back from CCTV5 for the final this year, and they reckon around 60 million people watch the final live on CCTV5, which is almost the population of the UK.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, literally, like everybody in the whole country tuned in to watch that.
Yeah, so when you think about it in the terms of 60 million people watching just the final alone, and I was lucky enough to play 3 matches this year which were live on CCTV5, and each match was 210 minutes, so 3.5 hours. So that's over 10 hours of live TV coverage of 60 million people watching each match live. So it's obviously a huge amount of people, and the only way to really describe how big cue sports and how big Chinese 8-ball is in China is cue sports to the Chinese is almost like the football is. Well, it is like the football is to the English. They're just fanatical about the cue sports.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you that. I mean, in terms of sort of Chinese sports, you associate them also with table tennis. They're big into table tennis, aren't they?
Yeah.
And cue sports, those are the two main kind of sports, are they? Or?
Yeah, they are, and they are just literally fanatical about cue sports. And like I say, the only way I can sort of relate it to is how the English are with the football, and that's how big it is out there.
Because you'll be mobbed going in and out of your hotel.
Yeah, you do. Going in and out of the hotel. You land at the airports, and there's huge crowds sort of greeting you at the airports, and it's just a complete different world. And just because they're so fanatical about their cue sports, and they also sent some figures to show that they actually have 60 million affiliated players that play Chinese 8-ball, from obviously the amateur level right up and to the professional level. But there's actually 60 million people that play.
So it's a huge growth sport over there. And where in the UK we sort of think, well, snooker kind of had its day in the 80s and it's kind of disappearing away, and pool tables are coming out of pubs and that sort of thing. But there, it's completely on the
it's completely on the up, and obviously Joy are now plowing a lot of money into getting the game on TV and making big tournaments with huge prize money, huge exposure, and making the players and the Chinese players sort of huge celebrities out there through their resources and putting big tournaments on TV. So I can only see it getting bigger, and I think the main thing why certainly this form of 8-ball I believe can be really big is because of everything about it. We've explained about the tables. The table's amazing. It's really expensive. It's expensively made. Everything about it's just perfect. Really tight pockets. The game's really tough to play, and the only way I can sort of relate it is any other sport that's big in the world, really, whether it be tennis, golf, snooker, all of these sports are really, really difficult to play. and this game is also really, really difficult to play. And I think the players out there and the spectators and the fans appreciate the difficulty level of this game, certainly as opposed to an English pool where, you know, the skill level is certainly nowhere near as high. So because the difficulty level of the game is so high, that's the reason why, you know, I believe it's as big as it is, and it's going to get even bigger.
Yeah, I would say that. I think watching it, if you were to miss a shot and there's still quite a few balls left on the table, I know that the chance of your opponent making a mistake and you getting back to the table is pretty high.
Yeah.
It's just not like that, is it? Certainly in watching 9-ball American ball, it's kind of, well, it's curtains, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is, and because, you know, the pockets are so tight and it's so hard to take the finishes out, if you're better than somebody at this game, you're supposed to win, or certainly if you turn up with your A game, you will win the match, especially playing over 3.5 hours or race to 17 over the big distances. If you're better than your opponent at this game and you turn up and play to the best of your ability, you will win the match, which is the same as any other top sport that's you know, massive in the world. You know, hence golf, tennis, snooker. The big sports, the best players win. And I think that's the reason why, you know, this game will go forward, and I think, you know, it already is huge in China and it's continuing to grow.